In the depths of Norfolk lies Bressinghamam Steam Museum. Originally one man's collection, this quirky visitor attraction was once voted as Britain's most eccentric day out.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to Bressingham Steam Museum and Gardens.
I think Bressingham is difficult to categorise. You know, there's museum, there's steam, there's fairground rides, there's space. It is what one bloke decided to go and get and go and have and go and do.
But how does an attraction rooted in the past keep pace with the modern world?
It can't be helped, I'm afraid. Every now and again we are going to cause a tailback.
Steam's dying out, so you've got to really think about this being an attraction of the future.
In this series, we go behind the scenes as staff and volunteers launch new events, restore exhibits, and work hard to keep the museum alive.
No. Oh, there's nothing we can't achieve. It just takes a little longer.
Over the course of a year, we get to know the characters behind the museum that help to make this place so unique.
We burn these like hell, Chris.
It's on fire!
We're not here because we have to be, we're here because we want to be.
The only way to keep going is with that volunteer support. We're only here because of passion.
This time, Al is busy working behind the scenes to keep the museum running smoothly.
Good morning, duty manager. We're ready for our duties today.
We're all individuals.
A team of volunteers drive the Steamroller to a country show.
Well, for a figure, we're doing about 3.5 to 4 miles an hour. You can walk as fast.
And the museum is hosting its own 1940s event. And Taz is cooking lunch.
So about 2 hours' time, these potatoes will be perfect, even the big ones.
It's such an eclectic collection of both steam vehicles and, of course, the difference that the gardens make as a combined attraction. It's always really hard at times to know who and what our target market are. And because of that, we try to be, in a way, all things to all people and achieve that by a very varied events list that's not just about steam, that's about children's character days and, you know, Halloween, steampunk, the 1940s event with our Dad's Army theme. But we don't just stick to one thing, so we send some of our collection out to other people's events to spread the word about Bressingham or to spread the word about steam. As long as we can keep attracting people to want to see what we've got and learn about what we've got, then I'm sure Bressingham and many other places like it have a future.
Today, in order to promote the museum, John and the team are taking the roller on a 14-mile journey to a local show, and they're hoping to do it in under 5 hours.
When we take the engines out, one of the main criteria we use is the type of road that we can go on. As far as possible, we keep off A-class roads, but then you're into a problem of not using too many narrow country lanes where you can't pass anybody. The road we're doing today is almost ideal. It's a B-class road with moderate traffic usage, quite wide. It's fairly easy, but it all depends on where you've got to get to and what the roads are like. It can be quite a challenge for everybody.
John is overseeing the Steamroller's journey to ensure everything goes to plan.
John Riley is one of our volunteers who predominantly comes here to work on the engineering side of the collection. He's not adverse to a mucky job and is often seen disappearing into a loco boiler or under one of the carriage sets, or in particular, I think his love really is the road traction engines and prepares them to go out. He's often seen driving them. He's certainly one of our key engineering volunteers that we couldn't do without.
Right. We don't have to be here. something we have to remind ourselves of every now and again. But yeah, it's tremendous fun. You know, there's no doubt driving engines on the road these days particularly is a challenge. There's a lot to think about, but it's very rewarding, and it's very stimulating too. You know, we do our best when we're on the road not to make too much of a nuisance of ourselves. It's quite surprising actually how easy it is for most vehicles to get past us because we're going so slow. The only real trouble arises if we have to use a busy road that's got heavy traffic in both directions and there's nowhere to pull off, and that comes back to what I said about picking your routes carefully. So we do our best to avoid those kind of situations. But yeah, it's really tremendous fun.
Over at the museum, Al is in early to prepare for the day ahead.
So here we go, entering the heart of Bressingham for the morning. Clear up after them from the day before. Make sure everything is where it should be and as it was. Just check the fire exits. Somebody obviously ran out of drink. Little by little, year by year, we try and improve Bressingham. Every penny that is profit to the charity goes back into the charity. We try and keep a balance of infrastructure and exhibits and putting things back into Steam. So each winter we sit down and try and work out what we can afford from the takings from the year before, basically. It's not a working signal box, but kids can watch the signals down the line go up and down as they play with them, and that's what we like. We don't want barriers and perspex and ropes. We want people to actually feel and see and, you know, get it wrong, but have a go. You know, get off the couch, come somewhere where you can touch history and you can live with it. And there we go, done.
With the museum now open and ready for visitors, the staff are expecting a quieter day ahead of the upcoming 1940s event. Once a week, David volunteers at the museum, and today he is working as a guard on one of the railways.
We come round your way Monday, stopped at Kingfish and got some fish and chips. Guard on the fen line today. I say the place is looking sort of quite reasonable, clean and tidy, grass cut, nice to see it, isn't it? All we need is the masses now, and a cup of tea, of course.
Behind the scenes, Al is checking to see if all the systems are working correctly.
So there's all sorts of modern stuff. Just checking our bandwidth for today to make sure that, you know, as well as useless mobile telephony, broadband is something that we like to wish for here. I tend to just do a check of each system in the morning and see if there's any gremlins.
In regards to friend guard, are you receiving? Over.
The guards are just talking to each other now to make sure that they're both going to leave on time. There are 2 points in the line where they cross, so
Friend guard receiving, over.
it's always good.
It's nothing, we're not going to, we're going to go on a test run, but we're not going to do that now, we're going to do the 11 o'clock instead. Out.
So they'll be doing their test run as their first run. It's not that there won't be a test run. You like to keep the radios on and sometimes intervene and sometimes just turn it down a bit because you don't need to hear all of that.
Hello, duty manager from Guard and Guard. Are you receiving? Guard and Guard, over.
Receiving you loud and clear, Guard and Guard, over.
Good morning, General Manager. Good morning, duty manager. We're ready for our duties today. Guard and Guard out.
We're all individuals. and it's people's quirkiness that keeps Bressingham going.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to Bressingham Steam Museum and Gardens. On this, well, it's rather quite a nice day here. I don't think we're going to get any rain. Might be an odd shower, but as long as we don't get rain between the showers, I'm sure we'll manage and all have a lovely day here. We have for you today running 3 narrow gauge trains. Also, you can look round the world famous Alan Bloom Dell Garden, which has now begun to look very, very nice. And when you've done all that, Alistair Steam Cafe is open for hot, cold snacks, and you must try one of the little alluring little succulent delights from the deli counter there. We're all a lovely, friendly bunch here, so do have a lovely day here with us at Bressingham. Thank you. Okay. Did you want to say a few words? No? Right. Hello. How are we doing today?
Good.
Good, lovely. Are you having a lovely day?
Yeah.
Good. Do you like the trains?
Yeah.
Oh, excellent. We got room for 4, so somebody will have to sit on top.
That's all right.
Okay?
On top, okay.
Right.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Good old Grandad, he's the tour operator, is he?
Yeah.
Good old Grandad, good old boy. Lovely, thank you. You've got to make people welcome. They're the people that keep the museum going. That is the priority. Well, in my eyes, anyway. My whistle. It was given to me by an old station master, what used to be at Harling Road Station. Original LNER whistle, which he said he used all his life during his time on the railways. So I thought, well, I better wear it for Bressingham.
Meanwhile, 4 miles down the road and an hour into their journey, John's team are almost ready to take a break.
Although they've got their supplies of coal and water, we've got the supplies of food and drink, and just want to be on hand in case any problems do arise. It's the old thing, if you're always about and always prepared, nothing goes wrong. You know, it's when you abandon them that things all go horribly wrong, sometimes. I mean, some people might think I'm an old worry guts, but I'd rather be prepared for as much as I possibly can be, you know, and have all the tools and equipment to hand. How you getting on, Si?
Yeah, it's been okay.
Ow, that's hot. The problem is you get so much conducted heat off the firebox wrapper, it's difficult to know what's what. I don't think there's anything wrong there, mate.
Okay.
After checking the engine, the team top up the oil on the moving parts. Steamrollers came in a range of makes and sizes and were used to build and maintain the roads, crushing and levelling the road surface under the weight of the engine.
Everyone here is a volunteer at Bressingham, and well, that's it really. We do it because we love it, and I have no intention of attempting to explain that. Why we should love working ourselves almost to exhaustion, getting filthy in the process, getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning to do it, but we do. Right, I think they're probably waiting for me to move the Land Rover, so I suggest we move the Land Rover.
Over at the museum's exhibition hall, volunteer Dave is moving some of the vehicles from the Dad's Army display in preparation for tomorrow's event.
So Dad's Army was filmed with a lot of Croft and Perry sitcom stuff in this part of Norfolk and Suffolk, and the opportunity arose, I think about 1974, for various pieces of the Bressingham collection to be in the television series and later the film, the 1970s film of Dad's Army. And here we have many of the road vehicles and steam vehicles, the fire engine, the Jones's van from the film. And it has to be said that kind of leading the small team of petrol engine heads here at Bressingham is Dave Bennett, who really is amazing at how he coaxes life back into these engines. And it certainly is his passion that keeps the collection of Dad's Army vehicles going.
This is only the second time I've driven this, so you'll have to forgive me. Yes, that does come out. Good. At least on this one, the pedals are the right way round. Now, somewhere here is the button to start it. I would switch off if I was you. It's around here somewhere. I can smell petrol anyway, so that must be a good sign. No. Flaps, undercarriage up. Time you get into second gear in this, you've forgotten why you were supposed to be doing it. Let's take off in second. Okay. That's possibly how not to do things.
The crew, for standard crew for any kind of traction engine, is usually 2 people. One person is called the steersman, steerswoman if you like, and their function is to do exactly that. It's to steer the engine, and when the driver is distracted from the road conditions, when he's doing some of his other duties, then the steersman might have to intervene and take control of the engine, but generally speaking the steersperson steers, and it is a full-time job. You also have to bear in mind that on a steamroller we're doing, well, for a figure, we're doing about 3.5 to 4 miles an hour. You can walk as fast. Coming up behind us is no different from coming up behind an articulated lorry parked. But yeah, I can't deny that every now and again we are going to cause a tailback.
As John's team arrive, the country show is soon in full swing.
So the traction engines probably go out to rallies up to 5-6 times a year. You can be with like-minded souls. Everybody's, got a bit of one-upmanship. Is my engine shinier than yours this year? Or what troubles have you been having with yours? you can just immerse yourself in the culture that is the steam world. You know, it's little boys and little girls and families' first foray into engineering and traction of years ago, where you can literally go and stand right next to something, breathing fire and dripping oil and smoke coming out of the chimney. So it's great, I think, that these things that have existed in our culture still happen today, and I think it's where the younger of our volunteers certainly cut their teeth on steam, and it really brings the community of steam and Bressingham together.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Just to say, the last trains will be leaving in approximately about 5 minutes. I know you've all had a lovely day here, and I wish you all a very safe journey home. Thank you.
Although the museum has now closed its doors to visitors, the day is not over for Al, who still has a lot to do.
So, just granulated sugar. White gold, wasn't it called when it first came in? I started here working on the gallopers nearly 30 years ago, and then I was a volunteer at weekends, and then I guarded for a bit and ran the gallopers, and then I was given the opportunity in 2000 to take over cooking in the kitchen with my great friend Dot, who is sadly no longer with us. It's my downtime here, so it's the bit that I enjoy. You know, there's some creativity to it. Quite often I'll potter around until sort of 8-9 o'clock at night, or midnight sometimes, but it's not every day. Jack of all trades, master to none. So yeah, I do cook the cakes and I do make the jam. It's whatever I happen to be able to do that I might be better at than somebody else, or free up somebody's time to do what they can do and I can't. You know, Bressingham to me is more than a place that I work. It is my home away from home. I certainly spend far more hours here than I do at home. You know, it's my support structure too. You know, I haven't had a crap life by any means, but you know, we all have ups and downs and things that could have gone better. And you know, I'm not a naturally gregarious person, but here, you know, my whole outer protection shell is Bressingham, and I think there are lots of volunteer organisations where you go to escape. Some people come because their working life they've retired from, whether they wanted to or not. It's an atmosphere where you don't have to talk if you don't want to. You can get on with stuff quietly and make your own friends who are similar to that. But some are simply social animals. David Bozier, for example.
I thought you wouldn't finish until 5. Right.
The picture of me driving a tram.
Nice to see the back of you in it.
It is. That's what I thought.
And there are those who come because they want to be a train driver, to learn steam, but that number is falling away as people remember steam less. You know, it's not a dream anymore. By our very nature, we have an ageing volunteer and a paid workforce, so it's not uncommon that we lose volunteers at the end of their life, or partners, and you just see the greatness of it all coming together. We're not driven by the need to achieve anything other than keep going. No, it's over there. And then, you know, you just expect the unexpected. As a wedding guest for the business next door, wearing a cardboard mask, asks you where the toilets are. And, you know, where else would you get that?
It's a new day and the morning of the museum's 1940s event, and preparations are already well underway.
The 1940s weekend is one of the busiest event weekends of the year and brings Bressingham to life really in the era that the machinery was at home. And of course it gives the younger visitor and today's visitor an insight perhaps into the Home Guard and what the Second World War meant and what was happening in the 40s. And it's amazing, you walk around, you know, people are in costumes, people are really into the spirit of it. There's people dancing, there's people singing. People love to let their hair down. They love to, any excuse to have fun and dress up and get involved with, whether it be the technology of the day or the clothes of the day or the music of the day. It's escapism, and how great is it to have real life and live escapism rather than just something you're watching on your screen. You know, it's a great immersive experience of what history really should be.
14 miles away, it's time for the volunteers to prepare the roller for the long journey home. And they're setting off early to try and get back to the museum before the end of the 1940s event.
Yeah, it was a good show. I think the engine men all had a good time. They were busy in the playpen in the afternoon, charging around, chasing after each other, which is always good. I noticed as the afternoon wore on, there was more and more engines having different crews each time they went round, which is always a nice thing to see. And now we're going to go home again. Yeah, back to Bressingham today. Most of the route is on the A1066. We can open her out a little bit there, and if we don't stop for a lunch break, just change the crews, we'll get back in. All right. We should be home about 3 o'clock-ish, I would think. All things being equal.
So it's 1940s day today, so I'm just oiling up this traction engine so that we don't wear it out even more.
Steam traction engines had a wide variety of uses, from farming to fairgrounds. In the late 19th century, they revolutionised the agricultural and haulage industries until they were replaced by the internal combustion engine.
Well, Gwyneth there was the first engine I ever drove, but yeah, this was the first engine I ever sort of looked after, so yeah. And it's just nice, it's a nice engine, nice size, not too big, easy to work with, easy to drive. You know, you're not run into any sort of timetable or anything like that, so you can just sort of please yourself really, make them look sparkly. You know, a lot of people these days have never even seen one of these. They don't really sort of understand what they are, what they were for, where they come from, because traction engines have quite a short history really in the grand scheme of things. They came and went quite quickly, they were replaced pretty quickly, so yeah. On a normal general Sunday, you know, a family that comes in, they're not particularly interested in these. They really, you know, they want the rides and like what's just about to puff past behind me. Yeah, that's more what it's all about for them really. But, you know, it's important that we keep these things alive because they're no good just stuck in a museum somewhere full of dust. They need to be running.
Yeah, she's going all right now. All we've got to do now is get her home and then she can have a few days rest. We're going to change crews in about 5 miles time. But if we only had an engine crew of 2, we'd do the whole journey straight through. It wouldn't be a problem. but because so many people who are interested in the engines want to have a turn when we're out on the road, because we don't go out all that often, so we just fit everybody in. And so yeah, we try to change over about every hour and a half. Somewhere at home I've got a photograph taken by a professional photographer of me sitting in the steersman's seat of an agricultural traction engine in, I think it was 1960, so I would have been just over 6. The irony is I now know the owner of the engine quite well. It's been in their family for 50, nearly 60 years now. So yeah, ongoing obsession. When Alan Bloom started the museum and the collection in the early 60s, he had a happy knack of getting a lot of publicity. You could hardly switch the East Anglian television news on without Alan Bloom popping up on it, either talking about plants or steam engines. So the word of Bressingham got out very quickly, and even though it was a long way from home, and we lived just outside Peterborough, still do, but folks were keen, so we made the trip, and we'd come once a year, twice a year sometimes for a day out. And I thought then it would be a good place to work, pity it's so far away, and it was 2002 before I actually worked out that it wasn't quite as far away as I thought, and I'd got the time to volunteer. So I've been there ever since. I think even all these years after his death, I think the spirit of Alan Bloom still lives on there. I always think about the old boy quite a lot, and I think the rest of us do too. I can't say I knew him, I knew who he was, and I spoke to him as a visitor a few times, but you know, even those of us who only knew him in passing or knew who he was, we kind of feel he's still there in some ways, and I think that adds to the mystique of the place.
In the spirit of the day, Taz is cooking the engine driver's lunch in true 1940s style.
I am pricking the jacket potatoes, put it in some foil, double wrapping, and then I'm going to put them in the smoke box of the engine. So they're cooked, ready for lunch. And in these engines, the smoke box is nice and hot. So about 2 hours time, these potatoes will be perfect, even the big ones. In a traction engine, it's nice, because it's just the right sort of heat. It's not too hot. Railway engines can be a bit hot. I have done them in railway engines, and they cook too quickly. And then you share with your fellow drivers. It is an old-fashioned thing, but we were trained by people who thrashed on the farms, who worked on British railways, and they did it for a living, and we just learnt from them really. So that's how we've learnt from it. Yeah, well, we're now going to go put them in the smoke box. There we are. Got lunch? Stop there. Right, so this is the smoke box, and you've got the tubes at this end where the smoke comes through, and so it gets hot. And provides a convenient cooking hole at the other end. The only problem is it does let a lot of ash out. Go away, driver.
2 hours.
Taz and Alex certainly are a bit of a double act, sometimes creating havoc, sometimes having a great time. And really, you know, it's young people's passion that will keep Bressingham alive, and without that we won't continue, and it's great to see. But so many of our sort of younger drivers do seem to have been bitten by the bug and just kind of evolved into being here all the time. This really is a family, and it is that relationship that our volunteers have with either each other or Bressingham as a whole, which makes the place tick, makes sometimes a bunch of misfits stick together. And I think those relationships formed over a shovel and bacon and a cup of tea and the living van will go on forever.
Meanwhile, down in the ticket office, Ray is reflecting on what brings people to the museum.
Yeah, no problems, yeah. In and out, yeah. Any pork pies, drop them at the gate here. I don't believe steam is what this place should be all about. It's an attraction. So if you take the word attraction, you've got to attract different people to different things. Steam's dying out. Not whether you want it to die out or not, it is dying out. Not everybody's seen steam and has a love for steam now. It's all reducing. So you've got to really think about this being an attraction of the future. If I'm honest, I think Bressingham's really got to be updated. This is an example of it. This is a 1950s type hut. But then I still love coming in here. This place is full of dust and it's lovely. The smell of steam, it's lovely. Yeah. And working with the younger generation, it's great. Right. Same as working with the older generation. There's a few here older than me. Not many, but a few, you know. Right, you can stay down here. Yeah. I'll cash that up. All right, thanks for your help today.
It's all right. He's great. He's actually, like, he handles people really well. But also just on a day like today, like where it's really busy all in one go, you know, he's efficient, can get through people, quickly get them all through the doors. But then also when it's a bit quieter like this, you know, he's not just sat there in the corner being silent, you know, he'll chat to you, make the day a bit more interesting. I personally am not a devoted enthusiast of steam trains, but you kind of get a bit of happiness from seeing the people that are, because, you know, you can see like little kids, they're like, oh, it's that one, and they know what everything is, and it's actually quite rewarding. And I know, like, I didn't really do much of that. I let them in and I let them out. But, you know, when they come out and say, like, I just wanted to personally come and say, oh, what a great day we've had, and sometimes they even want to then come and give another donation as well. And it's like they say, oh, this was lovely, and they tell you about their day, and it's just really nice to think that people have got so much joy out of it.
With the event going well, it's almost time for lunch and Taz's traditional smoke box jacket potatoes.
Potatoes. Go and wash my hands.
That's your one. You've been sitting there very patiently. Yeah, some of that one there. Look at that. Look at that. Oh. There we are. All right, chaps.
Yeah, it's jolly good.
Better than an oven. We are sitting in the Edison living van, which is a vehicle which you would have pulled behind road roller when you were doing work around several different sites, and you would have had 5 people living in here. In the corner you've got your stove where you heat your water and cook your meals, and your oven. Actually there's a potato in that oven, I forgot. And you would have slept in here as well. Yeah, so basically you live in it. You live in it as you're going along when you're doing different jobs on the road roller. We tend to sleep in here on a rally if we have a 3-day or 2-day rally. But we don't like doing it for very long, because by the end of the weekend it does get you, it does feel a bit uncomfortable, and you realise what they would have had to work through.
Marvellous.
We have the Dad's Army crew here as well. Here come the... Don't panic.
Gather around Captain Mannery for a small lecture. Turn to the right this bit, wait for it.
What's the oil position? What about the other side, mate? Because that's got the wick in it. That's throwing it out fairly.
Check that as well.
Yeah. Do you need a spanner?
Yeah. The other way around. I thought that was 20mm out the bottom.
Can you just get the ring spanner out? As well as getting through massive amounts of water, these engines have a propensity for getting through massive amounts of lubricating oil. I err on the side of caution, particularly on a road run where everything does get very hot and is burning away quite fast. I'd rather have too much oil going around than make a bit of a mess than not have enough and do some damage to a working part. So we are topping some of the oil up at the moment, just to make absolutely sure everything's got plenty of lubrication. If you look up inside the roof of the engine, it's splattered with oil. It just throws it up everywhere. And you might like to turn around now. So right now, so you never know what you're going to find on these country lanes the day after a vintage rally. Okay, drag and drop.
I think Bressingham is difficult for some people to get an exact hook on what it is, and it is what one bloke decided to go and get and go and have and go and do. To be driven to do anything, you have to be slightly mad and eccentric, and that's still what Bressingham is today. And whilst I think the visiting public don't all come with that built-in eccentricness, they might like one element more than another. I think if we've learned anything over the years, rather than steer a path to too much high fashion of what should be a day out, I think you should go with what you have and champion, you know, what makes you you, what makes you unique.
Oh, let's run away and I know where we are going to. Let's go far today and it's all gonna be wonderful.
So I think if you learn anything from Alan, whether it's his collection or his plants that you love, it is, you know, be true to yourself. You know, in Alan's case, grow their hair long and have earrings and drive a steam train and propagate plants. And where would we be if we all tried to toe the line and be robots, explore things, carry on with things? You know, why should anybody tell you no?